after having painted your tints, your color plus white, you should have 1, 2, 3, and we're going to do just one solid ring of your basic color, just plain, no black or white added, just a plain circle or ring of your color. So I dip my paintbrush gently in, I hold it like a pencil, and now I'm going to come paint my next ring just plain red. For mine, yours might be a different color. I'm still working on smooth lines. If I'm doing this and skipping those edges, I'm not painting smooth enough. Even if it's still a little wet, you can still paint right next to it. One smooth, calm move, and go over it a little bit so none of the white shows. When I look, this outside ring is not quite even, so as I paint, I might want to do even better than my drawing. Make it a little smoother if I can. All right, I'm going to keep painting this ring red and check back in with you when I'm done. Here's my ring, all painted a solid red. So I have tints, a regular color, and now we need to do our shades. To do a shade, you're going to do your color plus black. Black is really, really strong, so I'm going to add just the littlest bit, barely touching the black. If you use more, that's okay, but know that your shades are going to get really black really fast. So I'm adding just a little bit, and I'm going to mix it to this whole thing of red. So just a little bit of black. When I'm mixing, I'm using just the edge of my brush to mix it. I'm not getting it all the way up here where I hold it. That's too messy, and that's not treating our supplies with respect. We can do better than that. So I can already tell it's getting a little bit darker, which is what I wanted. I didn't want it to get like pitch black right away. So now that I have a shade mixed, I wipe off the extra. I don't want too much on my brush. Dip in and paint my next ring. I want to cover up those edges, so I always do my edge right next to my plain color first. And then I come over and I do the outer edge. And I kind of fill it in as I go. These ones are getting all the way to the edge of my paper. So I'm going to paint off the edge. You better have the backing if you're going to paint off the edge, because we're not just painting on people's desks or your own desk. Because I have the backing paper though, I can go all the way off my paper, and that's acceptable. It's not like I'm playing. It's just a way to really fill in my whole paper and make sure that it looks really professional and not like there are big white spaces on the edge. I'm going to keep going, and I'll check back in with you when this one's done. Now I have one shade, and I'm going to make it darker still, and so I need another dip in the black. I can go a little heavier with it, but keep in mind this is already darker, so if you did a giant scoop, it's going to go black super, super fast still. So this time I'm going to just do a little bit more and mix it into my paint. Remember, I'm being gentle when I'm spinning. I'm not trying to crush the brush. I'm not trying to get it all the way to the end. I can still see black streaks in my paint, so I'm not done with it yet. I still need to mix more. If you're seeing streaks, it's not done. Now it's getting better. They're starting to disappear. I'm going to wipe off my brush. I don't want way too much on there. Mix it up a little bit more, make sure it's good. Now it should be darker, and I'm going to paint my next shade. If I come here and start painting and I think it looks too light, I can add a little bit more to mine. So maybe I will do that, just a little bit more, because remember, I don't want it to go too dark too fast. I've been doing just dips and it's already gotten a lot darker. And then I'm going to come back and just paint right over what I painted to see if I like it better. Almost the same, but I think it's a little darker. So I'm going to go with this color. Now I'm going all the way off the edges on almost the whole thing, because the rings, the concentric circles, remember our big vocabulary word, they're getting bigger and bigger, so they're going all the way off the edge. smooth lines. And then I'm going to come on that edge and work really close to it and carefully. When you get close to the end of your painting, you're going to notice that it goes a lot faster. Now that they're just bigger rings, first of all, you've practiced more, but also they're larger and a little easier to do than carefully going around all those edges. I'm not done yet. I've seen a lot of people doing this, like, okay, I painted that, I'm done, I should add more black. But I'm missing this other half of this ring. It's supposed to be one whole ring. I want to imagine it going all the way around. So I need to come finish this side before I change my color at all. If you change your color, it's going to be really hard to match it again. So you got to just take your time and double check before you change that color. Look how fast this is going. Need a little more paint. I don't want it too dry. I don't want you to see through it. Moving my hands so that I don't paint my hands. If you're getting really good at painting and being really careful as you work, you're going to notice that you really don't need to wipe your hands at all. They'd be totally fine and clean, which comes with time and practice. But we should always be working on our neatness. Okay, I've got my second shade done. Now for my final one, I'm going to really do the whole scoop of black, maybe even two, and mix it in because now it can be so dark. As you paint, you may think it looks totally black, but when it dries, you're going to see your color showing from underneath. So I like this color, but maybe you want it even darker, and that's totally up to you. You could add more black. Maybe you want to leave a lot of your color showing. But I'm going to wipe my brush again. It's getting higher, but it's still not up where my hand is. There's still no reason that my hand should get painted when I hold my brush. All right, and now my last edge is going to be super fast. I just need to find a dry area to hold my paper. All the way off those edges, I don't want you to see them. I don't want you to even know what color my paper was. And now I can do my other edge, just these tiny corners, and I'm going to be all done. And there. Now when it's dry, we can hold it up. And you'll take it to the drying rack with both papers because this is really messy and you don't want to get paint all over your hands.